Hello, welcome to another special Sudoku solve video. Today I have, well, this puzzle is a few days old, but it's a Yin Yang puzzle, so I always like those, and it's by yttrio, and he generally makes very good Yin Yang puzzles. I looked at the example. It says, well, okay, let's open the puzzle. So it is a normal yin yang, so shade some cells such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected, all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected, and no 2x2 area is fully shaded or unshaded. Shaded skyscrapers. Each shaded cell represents a skyscraper with a height equal to its value. Unshaded cells are not skyscrapers. A clue outside the grid gives the numbers of skyscrapers visible in that row or column from the clue's end, where the skyscrapers block view of skyscrapers with the same or lower height behind them. I did look at the example in this one, and I tried it, and it was, I would say, fairly difficult for a 6x6. But yeah, okay. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's start with basic yin yang. So that's this, this, and this. If we have this kind of setup, can we make this green again? And it is no, because if we connect the greens now, you isolate this gray from this gray. So that's not possible. And if we make that a bit smaller as an idea, like this is also not possible, because if you connect gray to gray, you also always isolate green from that green. So that doesn't work. So in the border, usually with yin yang, what you do is you try and find a division. And I think that's going to be here. Because, well, I don't know, because 5 can, I guess, be a whole green row. Because you can just hide, like you can just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just do this, and that satisfies the rules. But I think, so it isn't the small numbers, because you can just put a green 9 there and you'll be fine. So it must be something with the bigger numbers. Well, okay, so I think this is impossible. This cannot be possible, because this is the most greens you can put now in this row, and that doesn't satisfy the 6 rule. Because if you put any more, you create a 2x2. So there is a division somewhere here, and that works the same here. So there is a division somewhere here. So it's either, so I'm going to say it's either like this, and then maybe extends, but there is a division, or it's the other way around. Let's look at that for a second, because it's either like this, which I think is fine. Okay, so the other way around isn't going to work, because now you have, let's say, a minimum of this as greens. Let's make it a minimum, right? Then you have the green as this, but that does mean that this connects to this, right? And then you have the same problem with the 6 clue here. So that isn't the case, I don't think. That's weird. But it doesn't have to be like, okay, so I have this, right? That's fine, but it can be more. It just, that has to be gray, I guess. Because how are you going to, okay, so let's do this. This is a fact. This has to be like this. But now, how are you going to fix the 6 clue? You can take, no, you cannot do that. You can do this. This is a possibility. Is that the only way? Right, okay, is that the only way? Because that's not possible. If we make that green, we have a problem. Because now we cannot fill enough greens in this row. Because this number basically gives you a minimum of the amount of green. Because I'm going to use green as the skyscrapers, as the shaded cell, yes. Green is my shaded cell and gray is my unshaded. No, we know that that's green. Because of the 2x2. Is there a way? Okay, so that cannot be green. I looked at that. And now we only have 6 cells left. So that must be the case. And then this must be gray, so and that must connect to the rest. So that's like this. Interesting. Now that has to get out, that has to get out, because it eventually has to connect to the rest somehow. But this 6, I think that's the next thing then, because how many cells do we have left? Only 6. So it must be like this, then this must be gray, that must connect. How are you going to get numbers in here? That has to be gray because it has to get out. Let's think about numbers, I think. Because 6, what can we... So there has to be 5 numbers higher than this one. So this can be a maximum of 4. So it's like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is just a more thermo logic, I guess, than skyscrapers, how I have it in my head. This is just the pencil marking a thermometer. That's length 6. So this has the same effect. 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's incorrect. That's 5 and not 9. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. But that's a problem, isn't it, for that 5? Because if that's 9, you block every vision. There have to be 3 numbers higher, so this can only be 6. And this has to be 7, 8, 9. So there is no 6 in here. And if that's... What does that mean? What does that mean? So that cannot be 5 anymore. That cannot be 4 anymore. That's basically it, isn't it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, okay, it has to be lower than that 6. Okay, that's very, very logical. Okay. I miss things like that. This 6 has some space. No. This 6 will never see that 1, because whatever you put in here, it's higher than 1. So it needs to see 6 more cells, so it's those. Okay. That seems fair. This is also a problem. This cannot be 1, because then you cannot see 4 digits in this. Oh, for the same logic, it cannot be 2. 3 it can be with 2 and 1. But then, anyway, this is then 2, 3, not 4, and this is 1 or 2. And this just has to be lower than 6. But it could be 5. Makes sense, okay. This has to be 7, because that's the only place it can go in a column. This is an 8-9 pair. No, that doesn't affect the skyscraper clue at all. Which, okay, yeah, I can see. From this 6 perspective, we have 2, 3, 4, because there has to be 5 numbers higher than it, and it cannot be 1. So this is more limited. 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. Well, not 7. So that doesn't impact that at all. No, it doesn't, but that is an 8. So that's not 7. So that's not 6. So that's not 5. So that's not 4. Right, is that true? Yeah, that must be the case. Because now that cannot be 7. Okay. Interesting. I'm still trying to get a bit used to this, to the way this skyscraper logic functions. It is interesting to see how well it works together, though. If there's a green in front of this, it has to be higher than 2, but that's doable, I think. That can just be like with... Oh, there cannot be just a 9 here because of that 5, but that's more of an example than anything else. That start went so well. Now I cannot see anything anymore. Yin Yang? Skyscrapers. Well, this doesn't have many options, right? Because it can be 4 with 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 5. Right, 2, 3, 4, 5, so there's a 1. Is this? Oh, this is now impaired, this row, because of this 3, 4. So this has to be higher than 3, so it cannot be 2 or 3. Yeah, so the lowest two numbers disappear. 5, 6, 6, 7. Now, oh, now that's an 8, 9 pair, so that's a 7. So we know 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. That doesn't say anything about that though. Before I get too enthusiastic, this 1, 2 pair makes that a 1, 2 pair. And this is now interesting, I think, because it sees that 5. Yeah, okay, so if that is 5, we need 4 numbers higher than 5 behind it. And that's fine, we have 6, 7, 8, and 9, but 6 is already down here. So we need 7, 8, and 9 above it, which makes that 6 invisible. So 5 doesn't have enough digits below it. So we need 4 digits below this, and it's 5, 7, 8, 9. 8 and 9 cannot be there. So 8, so at best 9 can be there. So this all has to be like this, and we can fill that in, because that's the minimum. Those two are gray. That's a 3, that's a 2. Normal Sudoku will be what I miss, most likely. That's, oh, this 8 obscures that. And only a 9 behind here can be visible. So to make 4 digits visible, it's the 9 behind this, and it's the 2 in front. So the 2 in front, and then 9 behind this, which can only go there. Those could still be, no, not both, because then you isolate this, but those could still be green, I guess. And this just has to be lower than 8. So let's make those two gray, then that is a green cell, and then let's not make a checkerboard pattern, so we make that green as well. This gray has to get out of here, so that's through this. This gray has to connect to the wall, so it does this. That's now gray because of a 2x2, 2x2. Then we have this left over, which, well, maybe it's this 5 clue, right? Maybe it is. Yeah, how many of these digits can be green? And I think you have those 3, but only one of those 2 can be green. If both of these are green, you isolate this. If both of these are green, you isolate all this. So one of those is green, one of those is green. That's every green we can have. So yeah, okay. If that is green, it has to be higher than 5, and I think that's a problem. Because if we make this green, and it's higher than 5, right, because if it's lower than 5, both of those are visible, and then this clue isn't satisfied. If that's green, it has to be higher than 5, so 6, 7, 8, or 9. But if it's even 6, you only have 7, 8, and 9 above it. Ooh, that does work. That does work. So then that has to be a 7. So 6, 7. One of those 8, and that's a 9. That does work. Oh, but that cannot be a 7. What can this be? This has to be lower than an 8. So it has to be lower than an 8, right? And it cannot be 7, because then there's nothing what fits in between. Which is higher than 7, lower than 8. There is nothing that satisfies that. So basically this is 3, 4, 5, 6, because from the perspective of this 2 clue. But there is something in between, which also has to be visible. So it isn't 3. It isn't 4 because of this 4. So it's a 5 or a 6. So that cannot be a 6. Right, so that cannot be green. So this has to be between 2 and 5 or 6, and it isn't 3, so it's 4 or 5. Then you have 6. Yeah, you can have a lot of stuff in between here, right? Because you can have 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, not 9, I guess, between here. But yeah, that's fine. So this has to be higher than this. So that is 6 or 7. It isn't 7, so it is 6. So that's a 5. So that's a 4. Right, can we know more? Yes, we know this, 6, 7. This is still 8 or 9. Yeah. Where in this row can 5 go? Only there. In this box, 5 can only go there. And so 5 is there. So if we make that green, right, we don't satisfy that 2 clue. So that's a problem. So that's green. So this cannot be higher than 5. It has to be lower than 5. It cannot be 2. It cannot be 4. So it's 1 or 3. Yes. It is 1 or 3. Okay. This is a 1 or a 2. I'm still thinking about this in the back of my mind. There's either a 6, a 7, or an 8 between there. Well, maybe let's do some normal Sudoku first. One of those are 4. Which numbers do I have a lot of? Not ones. 2. Don't see it. 3. 4. One of those is a 4, so one of those is a 4. I guess that's true. What am I missing in this row? It's an 8 or a 9 here. Oh, this 9 places the 9. Okay, makes sense. 9 and 8. Now we can place this 8. Still not everything. 9's also a problem, it seems. Okay. Can this ever be 7? I guess so. Oh, well, okay, so we can place this 7. So one of those is 7, but that means that still can be a green 7. Right. So what then? Normal Sudoku, please help. 5s. That's a 5. That's all the 5s. 7s. I'm better with logic than with Sudoku, I feel like sometimes. Right. This can be 8 or 9 from both perspectives. If that's an 8, the number between here is 6 or 7. But it could be either, I think. One of those is 6, I can see that much. What am I missing in this column? It is 1, 2, and 3. This cannot be 1 or 2, so it is a 3. So that's a 1 or a 2. Can I do something with that? No. This is always fine from the 4's perspective, so that isn't it. 4's I have pencil marked here as a final shape. Oh, 3 here. Okay, that makes sense. So that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 2. 1's maybe. One of those a 1. So that's a 1. So that's 1, that's a 1. And let's see, that should be able to finish all at once, yes. 2s now. One of those is, what am I missing here? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 and 6. 2 and 6, I guess, yeah. 2s should be, okay, so one of those is a 2. So in this row we have a 2 either there or there, and this one there or there. So where is the 2 in this row? It's not there, it's there. Making that a 2, making that a 4. The 4 now. What am I missing in this box? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 6. That doesn't help. Okay. 3 again. Ah, so now that's a 3. So that's a 3. So that's a 3. That's a 3. That's every 3. Okay, that's good, I would say. Okay, so what am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 7. So we have a 7 and a 4, a 2. So a 2 and a 6. So that's a 6. So I still need to place something in between here to disambiguate this. What am I missing in this row? Oh, a 7. So the 7 goes there. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, yes. 8, 8, 8. So one of those an 8. I don't, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How? Because that can now just be green, right? And then we're fine, unless that's an 8. What am I missing in this column? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. That cannot be a 7, so that's a 6, so that's a 7. 6 is, the last 6 goes there. Oh, of course, 6 and then 4. Where am I missing a 4? There. Now it's only the 8s and the 9s. So that's an 8 or a 9. That's a 9. How do you disambiguate this? Right. We need a second green one in this row, and it's this. Okay. So that's gray. So that has to be an 8. That has to be a 9. That's an 8. And that's a 9. Where am I missing? Oh, final 9. Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. I really enjoyed this puzzle, and the skyscrapers together with the yin yang worked very, very well. I was surprised that you're able to fill in the whole puzzle, and it wasn't as difficult as I expected it to be, because when you combine those things, I was afraid that filling in the digits was going to be hard, right? Because skyscrapers do not give you a lot of information, is what I had in mind, but they were constructed in such a way that they gave you a lot of information, especially the 6s. No, I really like this. A great combination of rules. Thank you for setting, and have a nice day.